Back in 1996, John Eric Wells lied about winning a big lottery to his wife, Kathy. The fake lottery roller coaster began when they were out shopping, and Kathy saw a pair of shoes she liked. They were deep in debt, and she knew that they couldn't afford it. John simply didn't make enough money to give her the lifestyle she wanted. She was reaching a breaking point, and John felt it. So that was the moment John just made up the lottery lie right then and there. He told her to buy the shoes. In fact, he told her to buy whatever she wanted because he confessed that he had won the lottery. He hoped that his little lie would save their marriage. He thought that if he could buy her everything she wanted, she would fall in love with him again. At first, Weld lied only to his wife Kathy about winning money in the UK National Lottery, but the news soon spread like wildfire, and his lottery lie became bigger by the day. It became like a rock rolling down a mountain, gaining more and more momentum and getting much more dangerous. Lying was something that was always with John. For example, his own wife didn't even know his real name of John Eric Wells. She knew him as Howard Walmsley. As soon as John made up the lie about winning, they immediately started living like a royal couple. Remember, John didn't actually have the money, but John had to keep up the lies of being a new rich man. He lied to banks, luxury car dealerships, and contractors. He even had a celebration party with his closest friends, with all of them believing him to have won the lottery. But Kathy naturally became suspicious about his supposed big win. John never actually told her how much he won, and she never saw any money. The bills kept on piling up, so she pieced together about the time that he claimed to win the lottery and concluded that he must have won the jackpot for roughly £8.9 million in the British lottery, and he just smiled and nodded, making his lie even bigger than he wanted to. By this time, he was all in. He knew that it would all catch up with him someday, and of course it did. But he still went through with it. In order to keep up the image of a rich guy, Wells started making massive purchases. For example, he commissioned an architect to plan an extension on his house and a luxury swimming pool. He started conning luxury car dealerships. One Jaguar dealership in Doncaster sold him 3 cars, and Wells paid for all of them by writing bad checks. He paid for everything with bad checks. One time, he even pretended to be interested in a 17th century farmhouse just to seem like he's rich. But he never got the expensive farmhouse, nor did he get to drive any of the cars because the checks bounced before he could get his hands on them. But the con was enough to keep Kathy happy, and it stopped the debt collectors from coming around for a while. The one business John actually was able to successfully con was banks. It turned out that being a fake lottery winner was actually way better than having a perfect credit score. He and Kathy were able to live lavishly with bank loans, but it would all come crashing down. So, banks weren't the only ones who John got money from. Even though he got money from the bank, he still needed more money. So he started dating other women just so he could steal money from them. These ladies loaned John money just so he could keep up his fake lifestyle with Kathy. These women loaned him money because they thought that since he was a big lottery winner, he could pay it all back. Ultimately, he took the money of these women and never paid them back. Instead, Wells filled their heads with false promises about leaving his wife. He even talked about buying houses and moving in with. None of this actually happened, but it did set the stage for what would become the biggest cons of his life. After 3 years of life-changing lies, law enforcement officials finally caught up with John in 1999. He actually initially tried to keep up the lie with police. He told them about the £8.9 million that he won, but they didn't believe it. He was charged with 12 counts of deception and 1 count of false accounting. Kathy left him and told all her friends that he didn't win any money. Wells' fantasy world had real-life consequences for the companies and people he told lies to. In the end, Wells' fake lottery win allowed him to con roughly £100,000 from the different businesses and the 2 women he lied to before his lies all caught up with him. Amazingly, his wife Kathy jumped to his defense in court. Even after learning he was with other women, she got back together with him even after everything came out. She told the judge that Wells was only trying to save their marriage. But of course, the judge wasn't having any of it. She said that he couldn't con the court. She sentenced him to 3 years behind bars. After his story went public, John Wells' fame skyrocketed after his big lie was exposed. The press was calling him the Casanova Con Man and the Lotto Liar. There was even a movie about his escapades called Can't Buy Me Love. People in Britain at the time were glued to the Wells trial, so it's no surprise that there was a movie made about his crime, and it was a huge success. Can't Buy Me Love was the made-for-TV movie produced by the ITV network that told Wells' story. In the movie, Real-life Kathy and John Eric Wells are named Alan and Donna Harris, but aside from the name change, the rest of the plot is true to real life. Even with the movie made about how he would steal from people, women all over the world fell for his charm once again. 3 years behind bars definitely didn't reform John Wells. It only made him more careful. Scamming and lying is who he was, and it seems like he can't escape it. This time, Wells decided to set his sights on a lonely older woman with lots of money. He was able to scam at least 3 different victims out of around more than £400,000 beginning back at least 2014. One victim was Hazel Wilkins. Somehow, he was able to steal almost all of Hazel Wilkins' entire life savings of £63,000. Wilkins had a great job, a great family, and a comfortable nest egg when she met Wells, but somehow he took all her money during a relationship built completely on lies. When he first met Wilkins, he pretended to be a millionaire, just like he did with all the other ladies he met. He told her that he wanted her to work for him at one of his big restaurants that could seat 500 people. Of course, he didn't own any big restaurants. Almost his entire life was completely fake. For some unknown reason, he convinced her to quit her job and come work for him, but that lie was just the tip of the iceberg. He also pretended to be a wealthy hotel owner. He propped up his lies by showing off his supposedly lavish lifestyle. He would show Wilkins photographs from faraway exotic places and say that he was away on business, but instead, what he was really doing when he was away from her was scamming other women. Wilkins wasn't the only lady Wells was scamming. What he would do is use the cash he was stealing from other women to take Wilkins on vacations such as tropical cruises. This is almost like a pyramid scheme involving grandmas. Wells eventually proposed to Wilkins to get married just so he could keep scamming her. This is probably something he did with all the ladies he was scamming. But as you'd expect, he would just keep canceling their wedding plans. He canceled on Wilkins 5 different times with a different excuse each time. He would lie about a friend that just passed away. Then it would be a family member that passed away. He even went as far as claiming that he had cancer just so he could put off the ceremony. His lies weren't just ruining her life, it was people around her as well. For example, he told Wilkins that he'd buy one of her daughters a house, but then he took back his offer at the last second. Her daughter and her newborn baby wound up homeless thanks to his lies. Wilkins instead sold her house and bought a bigger one, just so she and her daughter could move in together. Finally, just as a final farewell gift, Wells took out £17,000 in her name and just quietly disappeared in 2017. Obviously, this left Wilkins heartbroken, poor, and completely confused. She started doing background research on who he really was, and that's when she learned that he was actually John Wells, and it's also when she discovered other victims of his sugar mama scams. How was he able to keep so many seemingly intelligent women in the dark about his lies? It's because Wells had a great system that allowed him to lie and cheat his way into the hearts of women looking for love. Is it any surprise that Wells lied about pretty much everything in his online dating profile? Wells claimed to be a millionaire, and he used several different names such as Howard Hemmings and Howard Walmsley. This might be why it was so difficult for most of the women to pin him as John Wells, even if he had a hit movie made about him. He also made them an attractive offer that was tough to refuse. Wells' pickup line was, quote, "If you are a lady and can enjoy life to the full, drop me a line and let's grow old together." So where's John Wells today? After scamming sugar mamas in the UK, he supposedly disappeared to Asia. According to one of Wells' old friends, Wells found a wealthy Vietnamese woman who bought him a bar for £23,000 and he's currently running it. Ironically, this Vietnamese lady is allegedly a wealthy hotel owner, which is exactly what he told Wilkins he was. Except, in the case of Wells' rich Asian sugar mama, it appears to be true. Wells' Vietnamese sugar mama pays for his lavish lifestyle, even if he's working at his bar. Wells' bar staff apparently is willing to cover up for him too. When they were questioned about where he is, they said that he had gone back to England and new ownership was in charge. Most people think that he doesn't have any plans to go back to the UK. Extradition laws vary in most parts of the world, so it would seem like Wells got off free and clear. Wells' Facebook page lists his location as Dubai, even though his friends claim he's in Vietnam. Fake geotagging is easy to do, and it very well might be yet another way that Wells is keeping the police off his tail. On the other hand, is it possible that he's just running another scam on another unfortunate woman in Saudi Arabia? Still, the South Yorkshire police haven't given up hope that John Eric Wells will have another day in court. An active Facebook page still lists Wells as a wanted man. Here's what's next.